Yo, what's up? It's Khan, aka Khan Puts You On. And today we're doing an album review. As you can see in the title, we're doing Do What Makes You Happy by Jimmy. Y'all might not know Jimmy. I've done a reaction to him in the past from his song Uncultured. You can find that by going in the description. He has some of the best album rollout that I've ever seen. Even his last album was crazy, bro. Like his production value and everything, he puts in a lot of work. You can go to his website. He has merch. His music videos always are very unique and well edited, and everything that he does is very well thought out. He recently posted a Gilga 2 in response to Donald Glover's Gilga. I don't know if that's legit. I don't know if he's actually asking for people to work for him. But if you need a job, I guess check that out. But yeah, man, let's get into it. Just to give you a rundown, it's very anti-capitalist, kind of just do what makes you happy. No matter what the situation is, just do what makes you happy, because tomorrow's not promised. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow is not promised. So that was basically the theme behind this entire album, was just that Jimmy was doing what makes him happy, and as everyone else should. And he was very anti-government, anti-the system. And that was presented very well throughout his music, and I definitely got that message. I think that's one of the things that Jimmy does well, is that his messages are very present in all of his music. Even his last album, those themes were all presented very well, and that's very thought out when he's doing it, and very consciously made throughout music. It's easy. I don't know if you guys have ever made music before, but it's easy to kind of have a concept and then lose track of that as you're going through. But Jimmy does that super well. I want to start off there because I don't want to make it sound like the first couple minutes of this is just negative. You know what I'm saying? This was kind of a thing for his last album that I thought, and I don't think it's huge. I don't think he does it horribly. But some of the mixing can kind of seem inconsistent, specifically the track Heavyweight. That was very apparent for me to notice. Heavyweight's mixing is a lot flatter than a lot of the other mixing. Now, I'm not saying all the mixing is bad. I think majority of the mixing is good, and it definitely has improved from his last album. But Heavyweight was one of the tracks where I was listening to this and I was like, wow, this is not as full, well mixed as the other songs. Especially just going right after that. Save the Children, I think, is mixed very well. When I'm Gone, a mixing on that was beautiful. And I will say that a lot of the production is well done. Very, very well done. I love the production on this track, and on this album just as a whole is just really, really good. He has a lot of chords. I feel like he's getting a lot more instrumentally in terms of having just different chords, piano chords, or strings, trumpets, everything. He does that super well. His drum breaks are always crazy too. I don't know if he listened to a lot of old timey James Brown or that kind of era of funk, or just where there was a lot of breaks and stuff, but yeah, crazy breaks. I love the drums on this album for sure. One thing, so I tweeted at him and I said, I hope there's a song where niggas feel like bad bitches. I like to feel like a bad bitch, okay? Now, y'all may think that's crazy, but y'all do it too. Y'all have your songs where you're like, this is bumping. Lucky is my bad bitch music. Now, you gonna take that however you gonna take it, but just take it. Pause. He told me Reparations, that's track 14 or something, or 12 or something like that. And I got to that song, and it is that vibe, that vibe mostly from any other track that has a bad bitch vibe. He tried to make a play on Baby Keem's music, where he just trying to copy the production and voice of Baby Keem. And I understood what he was doing, but I don't understand the point. I guess that's one of my other criticisms, is that with that song specifically, that would have fit more with his last album, where that was kind of talking about the rap game and very obviously taking influence and very much deriving it. But for that song specifically, I kind of I was all right. I just didn't understand it. I didn't like necessarily how it sounded. It was cool. It was a fun track. But I kind of wish Jimmy did that in his own way, rather than just copying Baby Keem. But I don't I didn't mind it. I listened to it and I was like, okay, I could come back to this. So that, I mean, he did Baby Keem well. It's just, I would have rather had him do it a Jimmy type of way. But I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest. Yeah, that's pretty much it for my critiques. I think overall the album is amazing. I think you should definitely check it out. What I think Jimmy did here that I really liked was his vocal inflections were crazy. And then they're usually really nice. There's a few tracks on his last album where he had some crazy vocal inflections, but here they were more consistent, and I think they sounded better. I think he placed them in better areas. For example, When I'm Gone, Save the Children, and Torch, if you go listen to those tracks, really, really good vocal inflection. They sounded really good, and the chorus is really good. And that's another thing that this album does a lot better than I think his last album, or just in general. Like, his choruses sound so good. I can't express that enough. His choruses sound really good with him singing on a lot of them, a lot more than the last album. And there was a lot of backing vocals, a lot of harmonies, and he did that so well. So I do want to give him props there. That was crazy. When I'm Gone is an example of where I think the chorus really shined through. And End of the Night, the chorus has a really good melody, and the vibe that Jimmy creates on that song is really good. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone. I have notes written down. So this is my first review for real. So okay, back up. Okay, I know it's a little spacey, but we're working through it. Okay, we're working through it. But back to it. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy does really well with the choruses and vocal inflections here, and I will say mixing on that end also is really good. I think a lot of the vocals on here were a lot fuller, but I still think like there were points where like reverb or a little bit of delay could have just really made that feel a lot fuller when you did have those vocal runs, especially when the vocals were very dominant. Because like you're singing over drums, it can feel very empty. Like I view music, and this is how I envision it, so I just want to like explain this in full context. When I'm making music or when I'm listening to music, thinking of music, I'm thinking of the sound staging as like a room. Okay, and like vocals sit at the front of the room. That's like your main piece. That's like your bed or like your couch. Like when you walk in the room, that's the first thing you see. And so it can be very easy to have like a bed or couch take up all of your space. So when I'm thinking about this, like your drums are just kind of like little like side tables or little pieces, and you can have your drums be big and loud in the space. But I think if it's just your bed and side tables, you kind of need something like accent pieces that'll fill the space even more. And I think that's where reverb and delay can really help, because when you do have that empty space that maybe you don't have a piano there, or maybe you don't have a violin, you can fill that space with reverb. Or just more vocal backings that just pan differently. Because when I was listening to some of your tracks, like, there's only music in front of me, like just right in the middle. And that is nice sometimes. Overall, I think it just leads to me getting bored with the mix. Even if your vocals are really good and the drum breaks are really good, that's just one thing off the top of my head. I do think overall your mixing was good. Like, I think Jimmy's mixing was very good, very well done. That was just one thing that I noticed. But yeah, I mean, overall, I love this album. I will revisit this album a lot. And Jimmy's always creating different stuff, so I'm gonna be checking that out nonstop. I think as a creative, he is like one of the top like underground artists right now. Like, just overall, he's just very creative, always like creating new ideas and has things like flowing constantly. So he's never disappointing. But yeah, as for my review, I feel like I've watched a lot of Needle Drop. I feel like I have to give like a number, and I'd probably give that a 7 out of 10 Jimmys. You know, there's 3 more Jimmys that could get in there, and I think his future projects will have 3 more Jimmys easily. But this is a 7 out of 10 Jimmy for sure. Strong 7 out of 10 Jimmy. But as always, if y'all like the content, hit me with a like and subscribe, and comment some more albums I should review, listen to, anything, man. I'm very open. I'm just vibing on this channel for real. I don't really have a lot of direction currently. I'm kind of getting some ideas and stuff. I'm going to be starting live music reactions where I review underground artists. Not like review, but I do react to underground artists' music, and where I can like put them on. Because, you know, Kayhan puts people on. So I'm really trying to get that going. But as always, man, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. Be safe. Be smooth.